Here is the push bar setup, most of the pieces anyway. So this stuff back here came with the kit. It was supposed to come with 2 pins, it only came with 1. I sent them an email, hopefully they get it out to me. But this is all from Applied Racing Technology. It's pretty nice pins, decent Heims, and it's pretty nice. It comes with 2 sets of tabs, so you can either do, you know, the regular tabs, or they give you 2 pre-bent ones, which is pretty sweet. What I think I'm going to do is on this 1.25 inch, which will go into the car, I'll probably just use one of these because it lines up pretty good. On this 2 inch, which will be on the ATV, I'm not really sure yet. I'm going to weld this first and make it all nice, and then I'll make a decision. So for my welding setup, by the way, we have a huge storm coming, so everything is inside. I'm working in restricted space here. I'm turning it pretty much all the way up. This GLS cup is only good for about 150 amps. I don't really want to go that high anyway, so I'm going like 135, and it's going to be multiple passes. I only have 3/32 tungsten, so that's what I'm going to run. And then I'm using 309L rod. This is the actual push bar itself, just some chromoly. And yeah, let's get to welding and see what happens. Well, that was interesting. I guess when they say intermittent high amperage, they mean intermittent. I have no patience, so I always just dove in, pedal to the floor, jamming rod in there. But it's welded, it should be fine. I'm gonna grind it smooth, which is why I put such a big bevel in there. It's really gonna have some pushing force on it just to move the car around. I'm not towing anything across the country or anything off these welds, so it should be fine. It's all 1/4 inch thick, which I think I mentioned before, so it's way overkill for what I'm doing anyway, but it's what I had laying around and what my buddy gave me for that straight piece. So let's get to grinding and see what we ended up with. Hopefully it's half decent. Okay, I don't know how good you guys are going to see this, but you can kind of see there's some low spots around this piece where I just didn't quite get it filled in with weld. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to fill them in a little bit just to make it a little nicer. I may have destroyed my welding setup in that last run, but I'm going to try and see what happens. I have it turned down. It's probably, I don't know, 110 amps or something like that. Again, this is, at this point especially, this is just cosmetic. I'm not really trying to get, you know, spectacular penetration. I just want to almost treat it like Bondo, fill in these little dips and stuff so I could grind it and it just looks like one continuous piece. It's pretty close. There's just, you know, the corners got, I didn't quite get enough filler in the corners, and there's a couple spots where it was low, so it shouldn't be too much. But I'm crazy and I feel like welding a little bit more, so I'm going to see if I could get it a little bit better. Let's go. I think that went pretty good. The GLS cup seems like it's holding up, shockingly, because I totally thought I melted that thing down to nothing the first go around. I'm sure you saw, depending on how I do the video, but really, especially the corners, there was a lot of crap that came popping up out of there. Again, it'll be fine. It's more cosmetic than anything. I really put a heavy bevel on these. So there's a lot of weld in there. Even if it's kind of crap in the corners, there's still plenty of surface area that's welded. Should be good anyway, good enough for what I'm doing. I'm gonna let this cool down before I grind it back. I'm probably gonna set up to do the small one, which I gotta prep all that. That's all really dirty and scaly and all that good stuff. So let's keep going. Okay, so I have the 2-inch, good enough. Filled it in, kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It's not 100% perfect, but good enough for what it is. So now what I'm gonna do is I've cleaned up the tabs and I've also cleaned up the 1.25 inch. I'm gonna do the same tab on both of them. No real reason. It makes more sense to do this bent tab on this 1.25 inch so I don't have to make a plate for it. There's no real reason to. This thing is solid in the back, so I'll get a full weld all the way around. So that'll be good. And then, I don't know, this one's a little bit easier. It'll match, whatever. So I'm gonna be welding this because this is some kind of mild steel. And remember, this end piece is some kind of mild steel. So I'm gonna weld it with some ER 702, or I'm sorry, 70S-2. 16th, and I think I have the machine set somewhere around 100 amps, something like that. These are pretty thick. They're probably 1/8 inch thick. So let's get to welding. Also, before I start, I really got to give it up to this GLS Fab cup. I'm pretty sure I melted this thing beyond all recognition. It probably still needs to be replaced. It's definitely not round anymore, but it's still going. So that's pretty impressive. I would definitely recommend getting these. I got mine from Monkey Fab. Mike over there will take care of you. But these things are pretty good. Well, that one came out really good. Too bad the other one came out like crap. Nothing the grinder won't fix. Okay, we're gonna try and get you guys nice and close for this next part. So this is the actual push bar itself. I think it's 1.25 inch 083 wall chromoly. Not positive on that, but close enough. And then this is the Heim joint. I'm using this mag switch, whatever the hell they call it. Basically just as a stop. It's not really holding anything. This piece actually slides into probably about here or so. So it's really just kind of making sure it doesn't want to move around. But let's see how I do on this. I have the camera like directly in front of me, so I'm kind of going to be reaching around it to do this. So it'll be interesting. Let's see what happens. Not bad. That'll do. Well, that clearly didn't work. I was pretty sure it wasn't going to actually. The drill bits I have are so-so, but then using a hand drill to go through that stainless, it was pretty slim chance of that working. So we're gonna load all this stuff up, take it to my buddy's machine shop, and see what we can do down there. Hopefully it's not as big of a deal. Get a couple holes punched in this, maybe clean up the back edge. So now I'm driving home after getting all that stuff machined over at my buddy's shop. For anybody interested, that was Cayman Tool in Cicero, Illinois. And that was my buddy Lou, who's the one running everything. I just stood back and watched. All we really did was drill the 4 holes. So we did 2 holes in each piece so we could change the orientation. I'll show that a little bit better once I get everything back on the car. And then we kind of just squared up the ends. No real reason for doing that. I just wanted to make them a little bit nicer. Neither one of them was cut very square, so just a little OCD. But he did that for me real quick, so that was nice. Took me longer to drive there and drive back than it did for him to actually do the work, but what are you gonna do? You know, beggars can't be choosers, and he didn't charge me anything. So he's also the same guy who gave me the square material. I'm heading back home right now. I have to move some stuff around, see if I can get some air in that tire since my compressor is still not hooked up, and then we're actually gonna get this thing all set up and see if we can move the car with it. Hopefully all this works. This has been a long time coming. It was more money than I really wanted to spend on not making the car run and drive, but I moved the car around enough where I think it'll be worthwhile. Plus it has the added benefit of, on the ATV, it makes it a little bit easier for me to move my small trailer. Being on the front of the ATV, it's kind of easier to maneuver it into some of the tight areas where I put it, when I store it. And then on the car, it's nice to have a hitch on there, so I could use that same small trailer if I need to or want to, or if I end up taking a small trailer on a drag week, I'm ready to go. I don't have to mess with it. I do still have to add a wiring harness for that, but that's super simple because it's just going to be a 4-pin. But anyways, let's get this all set up back at the house and make sure it works. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully it works pretty good. Like a glove. Okay, let's clean up the garage a little bit, move some stuff around, and get ready to move the car. Alright guys, we're back out here in the garage. You can see it looks a little bit different behind me. I got my truck up on the lift. Lexus is down here in the middle. Basically what happened, we were backing the car out with the push bar and my wife turned the wheel the opposite way I was going, which put the Heim, one of the Heims in a bind and actually bent the Heim. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it in the video, to be honest with you, but it bent the Heim. I tried to bend it back real quick and it snapped it. So I had to order new Heims. We pushed the car in a different way. So basically we didn't even get to use the push bar for what it was meant for. But I didn't really have time to mess around. We had snow come in and now it's super, super cold here. So I wanted to get everything back inside. The reason the truck is up on the lift, one was to get it inside. The other thing is I got some work I'm gonna do to that. I don't know if I'll make a video or not. But that's where we're at. I'll show the push bar a little bit better in a later video. Sorry I couldn't get better video this time around, but shit happens. What are you gonna do? So that's all for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully putting the engine back together in the next video, so stay tuned.